Hey guys, it's Lindsey Unfiltered, and we are back with the Quiet on Set, um, the dark side of kids TV, the deep dive of the documentary produced by ID, and this was on HBO Max. So if you want to watch it, you can go to HBO Max. There's a lot of different streaming services, but I thank you guys for coming back. I thank you guys for engaging with that first deep dive of the first episode. We're going to deep dive into the second episode now, and hopefully we can draw more conclusions from this content. It's a very good piece of work, and I hope you guys continue to engage with the content, like, follow, subscribe, and share. But without further ado, we're going to get to unpacking what I got from episode 2. Okay, so we start episode 2 on a very different note than episode 1. Episode 1 was kind of like an explainer video, right? It told us, what we needed to know about Dan Schneider, what we needed to know about Nickelodeon, all that, Amanda Bynes, and basically the culture around the set. So we come into episode 2 and we learn about a child casted on the Amanda show. And this child was actually, it was a dream of hers to be on the Amanda show. And her mom actually listened to her dreams and found a way to get her onto the Amanda show, which was amazing for her mother to listen to her dreams and show up for her. So the girl actually got on the Amanda show, right? And there was a production assistant, Jason Hardy, who worked with all the kids on the set of the Amanda show. And Jason Hardy was giving his emails out to the kids, I guess making friends with the kids. Mind you, Jason Hardy was a grown man giving his email out to children on a set. But hey, let's forward past that. Let's just skate past that. Let's just rollerblade past that. Let's just ski past that, okay? So Jason just was emailing her at first, and everything was, cool. Everything was very appropriate for a conversation between a man and, a kid, like a very young kid on a TV show, right? So one day, the child shuts down the laptop, runs upstairs, and is crying. So her mother obviously is like, what's going on? Why did you just storm off like that? So she goes to the computer and sees that Jason ended up emailing her daughter a picture of himself.
A couple months later, she was sitting at the computer, and all of a sudden I noticed she had suddenly shut down the computer completely and got up and ran into her bedroom and slammed the bedroom door shut. And I said, Brandy, what is wrong? She started to cry, and she said, I got an email from Jason. It was a picture of him naked, masturbating. And he said he had sent it to her because he wanted her to see that he was thinking of her. I went back and forth with, should I call the police? They're going to think I'm a bad parent.
So we now have predators on set working with children. I'm not too surprised to hear that, honestly, because people who are looking to do scandalous things are going to be in areas where they can do scandalous things. Let's just put it that way. That doesn't surprise me at all. Honestly, I feel like, and I don't mean to like And I'm not in any way being a victim blamer or anything like that, but you shouldn't have been emailing. You shouldn't have allowed them to email back and forth. I don't understand why were they emailing back and forth for? Well, you're the parent, right? You're her agent. She's 8. What does she know about business? She sat in a chair and giggled on her set. Like, what does she know about business? What does she know about money? Like, when she got her check, she didn't even know how to use it. So there's no reason she should be emailing anybody over the age of 5. And that's my unfiltered opinion. Okay? So we move on to Amanda Bynes, right? Amanda Bynes is that girl. You hear me? And I remember it. Because I remember the Amanda show coming on, and I was in, oh, let me not mess my microphone up. I remember the Amanda show coming on, debuting. Now this was big shit in my, no, I think I was like teens, maybe even like 10, 11. I can't even really remember 10, 11, 12. It was big. It was huge. It was huge. Amanda was that girl. Let's just put it that way. She was huge. She was a star. She was a mole. She was that girl. When it came to Nick, kids that watch Nick, I was a Nick kid. I wasn't really a Disney kid. When Nick died out, I became a Disney kid. When Raven came out, I became a Disney kid, right? But before that, so Raven, the shows they weren't there, okay? Some of them were, but Amanda was the girl, okay? It was Amanda, then Raven, then Miley, okay? That's it. That's it, in my unfiltered opinion, okay? So Amanda was that girl. Her parents was telling her she couldn't date boys. She's about 16, and she runs away from home, okay? She's like, girl, like, I'm making all the money around here. Y'all not about to tell me what to do. She tried to emancipate from her parents, like divorce her parents. I don't care how mad I would have got at my mama in those ages. I would never say, Mama, I want a divorce. I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm an adult and I can't divorce my mama. What? You're bold for that. Anyway, her parents were pissed. Her parents were pissed. They were like, how dare you try to divorce us? Whatever, whatever. And then Dan Schneider, you're on her side, being her boss. You know she needs, stable parents. You know she needs people to help her manage her money. Why are you teaming up with our daughter against us? So they are pissed at Dan Schneider, right? So all of a sudden, all that has a reboot after the Amanda show, and they get a whole new cast that nobody knows, right? I'm sorry. Nobody watched the second all that. Nobody did. You might have. I didn't. And that's my unfiltered opinion. I was too old. I had gone to Disney. I was gone. Raven was on. I was gone. And that's just the truth. Raven and Cheetah Girls, High School Musical. The shit was on Disney at that point. Nickelodeon let their foot off the pedal, and Disney took that shit. They took the entire viewer base. I was gone with them. Okay? So the all that reboot came out. And so all that reboot came out, and they were making them do this thing called Fear Factor, but all that edition, right? And they made this boy do the peanut butter dare and worm dares, and kids do these dares that torture them to this day. And they instilled PTSD in children, like putting peanut butter over a minor's body and having dogs lick it off, and adults watching, and filling a bathtub with worms while a minor screamed, and all kinds of other weird things that adults would have trauma doing. Yeah, that's why all of us were at Disney at the point. That's why we were there, right? They were trying to bring us back, and I didn't even know none of that happened. I'm not gonna even lie to you. I didn't know it happened, and the kids were like, we were doing it, and it messed us up inside, and I'm like, I didn't even know. I'm so sorry. I wasn't watching. I know their ratings were bad because I wasn't watching. I came back for Drake and Josh. That was it. So and then the information about Jason Handy comes out. Everybody's like, he's such a nice kid. How could he be doing that? Sending pictures to little girls around here. In 2003, they get the warrant from the judge to go inside Handy's house. They say this one little girl that he sent pictures to, that can't be the only little girl. All these little girls and boys he's worked around. And they find an enormous stash of stuff in his house.
I had people write notes to me like a yearbook. And this is Jason. Keep your trust in God and don't forget me. You and all the kids are why I work for free half the week. I love you, Jason.
Law enforcement had been tipped off about Jason Handy's inappropriate behavior towards children. So in 2003, they searched his home. They find this enormous trove of child pornography. Over 10,000 images of children, including 1,768 images of young girls in erotic poses, 238 images of young girls in sexually explicit poses, and 2 images of girls engaged in bondage activity. One of the CDs included 7 video files of minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct.
He is sentenced to 6 years in prison for all of that filth in his house. 6. He's out now. That was in 2003. He's out now. Hopefully he's like gone to like one of those reform clinics. I don't know what they're called. I don't know if they work, but from what they found in your house, like that's all you were doing. That's all you were doing. And then they shift the focus, basically. They shift the focus after we find out about what Handy got in jail. They immediately shift the focus of the documentary to this guy named Brian Peck. And I'm like, I remember seeing Brian Peck's name on the screen a couple of times. I do. Like, there are certain things in your childhood you don't forget. And when you're sitting there and you're conditioned by a TV screen, wake it up, wake it up, wake it up. When you're sitting there and you're conditioned by a TV screen, because that's all we had to entertain ourselves back in the day. We had cable. And if you didn't have cable, that's what we had like 20 years ago. Today we have different ways of entertaining ourselves. We can choose what we want to watch. We couldn't choose what we wanted to watch back then. We put on a channel and it was programmed. Listen to me. So when you're sitting down and you're watching the same name pop up, when somebody says a name, something immediately goes off in your brain. So when they stopped talking about Jason Handy, I'm like, I don't remember that name at all. Right? But when they said Brian Peck, immediately after they were like, so Brian Peck is a dialogue coach. I was like it tapped into a forgotten piece of my brain. I remember seeing that on screen somewhere. So I am immediately tuned back in. They say Brian Peck had some type of party at his house. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, Brian Peck is pen pals with John Wayne Gacy and is rushing to show like all the cast members and their parents the notes and the paintings that they share together. And I'm like, That would have been the second that me and my son, my daughter, my twins, my dog, my goldfish would have gotten the fuck up out of there. Because why are you pen pals with John Wayne Gacy? Of all criminals, if you had to pick, if anybody in the country right now had to pick a criminal to be pen pals with, I'm promising you, they're not picking that one. That's not the first one on their list. He's not even alive anymore. But I'm just saying, if you had to pick a criminal, alive or dead, to be pen pals with, we would have gone. That's the biggest red flag. And they stayed laughing and giggling. That's not funny. Unless you're his family member, why are you... What's the purpose in that? Brian Peck? Peck as a last name as well. Oh God, it's just so much. It's so much, right? Oh, okay. And then at the end of season 1, episode 2, we find out Brian Peck is arrested for child sexual abuse on a child actor and is no longer going to be part of the All That family. And they ended just like that. And I'm like, wait, what? 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 And everybody is like, oh, well, he didn't do it to me. 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 And I'm like, what? What? How do y'all just so dramatically, like, what? Who did it? Who done it? Who did he do it to? Right? Y'all, that's how they end this episode, right? It was very like, they start talking about the abuse. They start talking about the abuse with Jason Handy and what they found on him. And then they kind of start breaking into the character of Brian Peck slowly, not a big break, but a slow break into the behavior and, you know, who Brian Peck is. But that name definitely does, like, it's been etched in my skull. So when they said Brian Peck, I'm like, oh, I know who that is. I've seen that name on TV at least 100 times, right? So guys, that is the end of season 1, episode 2. I've only actually at this point watched up to season episode 3, but you know, I had to crank out some videos because this is a brand new channel. I waited so long to do YouTube. I haven't been too confident in myself and my ability to make good videos and my ability to make good content. So I said, why not? Just get up and do it. You are enough. So guys, if you don't think you can do it, just get up and do it. Doesn't matter if one person watches it. That's enough. You are enough. So guys, I want to thank you for watching this video in its entirety. If you can, like, comment at the bottom, and subscribe. Share this to your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok, your mom's Facebook, your sister's TikTok, anywhere. You can go outside, print a flyer, and stamp that bitch on a tree. I don't care. Share it. You know, I'm on all kinds of social networks, but I do all kinds of funny stuff. And, you know, this is kind of like a semi-serious channel, but since we will be talking about more like unfiltered content, deeper content, we want to, you know, the purpose of this channel is to make you think, you know, think outside the box, right? When I say that, I mean, like, you really need to truly, like, we can talk about things that have happened, right? But we need to talk about things that have happened that maybe people don't talk about. Why don't they talk about it? You know? Why do people take one certain path in life? Why are people afraid of change? You know, why do we only have two parties, Democrat and Republican? You know, why do people get brainwashed? How do people get brainwashed? How strong can a person get before they fall apart? Why do mental health issues exist? That's why this channel exists. It exists to just answer the unanswerable question and laugh while doing it. I know that sounds like, hey, you just made it up. Well, guess what I just did? Let's just talk about stuff, about documentaries, about cults, about things that make us scratch our damn heads, you know? About scandals. Let's do an A to Z on scandals. I'm gonna do, I have a lot of things in the works, but I really thank you guys for sticking around. We're gonna do season 1, episode 3 next. Thank you guys.